Hey guys, this is your boy Scotty, back at you again with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a deck tech for my mono white deck. A couple of my other videos I've been promising to do a deck tech on some of my real life decks. So today we're going to be going over the first deck I made and my first fully finished deck as well. It's also probably my favorite deck because it's mono white, and everyone told me that mono white and Commander would always be bad. So I made this deck to prove them wrong. So yeah, let's just get into it. So let's first start by talking about the commander, Heliod Sunground. This is the masterpiece art from the Theros Beyond Death set, so it looks really cool. So what he does is, as you gain life, for every instance of gaining life, you get a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment. And he's an enchantment, so that's good, so you can pump him before he becomes a creature, and then swing out. He also has a 1 and a white to give another creature lifelink until end of turn, which is really good because that's how you do one of the infinite combos in this deck. I only have one. You can put 2 infinite combos in here, but I only put in 1, and it's the worst of the 2 because I play more casual rather than competitive. Okay, now this is probably the most controversial part of this deck is that I run only 28 lands. I know that the recommended amount is like 34 to 36, but I run 28 basic lands with 2 utility lands, so a total of 30 lands. The Kadorian Outpost is you sacrifice planes, and then you get this one, and you can pay a 1 and a white to create a 1/1 soldier creature token. Then this one has a 1 and a white to return a target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library, which is really good because we use a lot of really good enchantments, so if they get removed, you want to be able to get them back. That's really good. Utility land. But yeah, so I do know that the land count is really, really low, and that throws most people off. But hopefully this next section will make up for that. By the way, the main theme of the deck is Soul Sister, so lots of life gains by creatures entering battlefield. And the sub theme is token generation. And here, let me move the camera a bit closer. So I have, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 instances of mana ramp or consistent land drops. First one we have is Thorian Dynamo, taps for 3. Burnish Heart, you go search for 2 basic lands, put them on a battlefield, tapped. Oketra's Monument makes my creature spells cost 1 less, and then every time I cast one, I get a token. Mind Stone is a grit 2 drop, which I can turn into card draw if I need it, which this deck doesn't have much card draw. That is probably the weakest part about it. That and its removal package. And then Dreamstone Hydron is, again, kind of like Mind Stone, lots of mana. Then you can sacrifice it for a lot of draw. Soul Ring, classic. Worn Power Stone, kind of like a worse version of Soul Ring. Oketra's Explore. So this doesn't ramp you, but does make sure that you hit your land drops consistently, especially when other people are ahead. Nine White Orchard is probably the best mana ramp thing that White has because it's a 2 drop, and then you go search for a planes, put on the battlefield, not tapped. So you could play a 1 drop as well. So that's great. Turn 2. Nyx Lotus. Enters in taps, which kind of sucks, but then you choose a color. Obviously, we choose white, and then you add the amount of mana equal to your devotion to that color, which is really, really easy to get up high with this deck. You got land tax. One of the more expensive cards in this deck. Lets you consistently grab lands. So if I have a 1 plains and then land tax in my first hand, I will keep that hand because I can just go get 3 lands basically pretty consistently, and then never miss a land drop. Smothering Tide, classic. You guys already know what this does. Played in pretty much every white deck ever. Just ramps you really hard. So that's the ramp package, and that's the reason why I feel like the 30 lands is justified. I'd rather ramp really hard to play big spells than have a ton of just lands in the deck. I've played probably about 20 games with this deck. I pretty consistently get to the mana I need to play the deck really efficiently. I've only been mana screwed once. This is the draw. stuff. We have Stefanin. I probably could upgrade that into a better version for more money, but I've just been kind of cheap about it. Venjara, pretty good. Second ability is whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, you can draw a card. But his third ability is probably the best. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. So if they're doing multiple things a turn, you get to draw. Really nice. Yeah, it's cast. Okay. Then Dawn of Hope is whenever you gain life, you pay 2, and then you draw a card. You're going to be gaining a lot of life in this deck, so as long as you get the spare mana, it's not hard to get that card draw. And then Mentor to Meek, a lot of the creatures in this deck are kind of like low to the ground weenies that get buffed. So this guy works really well. So every time you have a creature power 2 or less come into play, you can pay 1 to draw a card. Really solid. The next one I'm going to board wipes. The top of the pile, though, is a little bit weird. I want to talk to you guys about it. It's Defeater's Protection. Again, another really expensive card. So this isn't technically a board wipe, but I didn't have another pile for protection. So I threw it in here because I'll play this right before I use a board wipe or right before someone else uses a board wipe just to protect myself. Because then it'll wipe everyone else's boards and then my board state will be there to swing out for the win. So that's why I put in the board wipe pile. False Prophet I think is underused. It's a really good negotiation tactic. You can be like, oh hey, ally. Let's ally up because this other person's winning. You swing at me, I'll block with False Prophet, exile all the creatures, and then we can recover. Or you can be like, hey, don't attack me, or else you'll lose your whole board. I'll block with him. So it's a really great negotiation tactic. I don't really even play him just for the board wipe, more or less just for the bartering tool. Get stuff I want. Mass Calcify is a destroy all non-white creature spell. If you're playing mono white and you're not running this, you're dumb. It's good. Austere Command, a really flexible board wipe. Oftentimes a one-sided board wipe because you get rid of what you don't want to be on the board and while keeping your stuff around. Winds of Abandon is a great target removal, and then you can pay more to overload it and turn it into a one-sided board wipe. I think it's, for the mana cost is 6, and you wipe every other person's creatures. So I think it's on par with Psychonic Rift. It's just you don't bounce other permanents, so artifacts and enchantments doesn't do anything about, but creatures, he exiles them, so they don't even get them back. So that's the trade-off there. Elshnorn, a lot of times gets rid of really weak creatures, buffs your creatures really hard, swing out for a win. Martial Coop, normally you play it for 5. I occasionally play it for less, just because then I can pump up Heliod enough to do a one-shot kill on someone. So it's kind of like flexible, so I like the options. Here's some target removal. Got Face Fetters, locks down a commander on the field. Same thing with Vanishing Light. Probably going to switch out Face Fetters for Dark Field Mutation eventually. I like Angel of Serenity because it bounces the cards to their hands rather than it returning after she leaves. And it's 3 targets, so that's really nice. Yeah, so I really like that. You got Disenchant, really great removal, and then Source Flasher is probably the best removal in the game. Like I said, my removal package for single target is not the strongest. I do have a really strong board wipe kit, but I probably need to upgrade my things. I probably could take out some token generators for some more removal. And then these are my win cons. So Triskelion is the only infinite combo in the deck. With Heliod, you pay 2 to give it lifelink. Then you remove a counter from it, ping someone for a damage, you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, remove it, ping them, gain life, put a +1/+1 counter, it loops infinitely. Then you have Aetherflux Reservoir. I don't normally close out a game with this just because I'm not gaining. It's really hard to gain 150 life in a game. My camera's not picking it up. Like I said, my camera's straight crap. Yeah. Oh well. You guys know what Aetherflux does though. So yeah, I kind of hold this as a gun to someone's head and it's like, hey, don't bother me or else you die type of thing. So that's more or less why I do that. With approaches like I saw in a second. Feldar Sovereign, beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 more life, you win the game. I feel like it's a really scummy way to win, so I don't play anything that will make it do flash or anything. And then also, I play this version because it's a creature, so it's easier to pop and remove, rather than the enchantment that says if you're 50 or more life, because that obviously enchantments are much harder to pop. So that's the reason why I play this rather than the enchantment, because I don't want to feel overly scummy. And then Approach the Second Sun is my favorite way to win. Is probably my only, I'd call, pet card I have. You play it, and then it goes 7th card from top of your library, and then if you cast it a second time, then you win the game. Funny thing is you have to counterspell it the first time, because if you try to counterspell it the second time, it's on cast. The effect's on cast, so you still win the game. So if they try to counterspell a second time, it just doesn't work. So that's really neat. Okay. Then let's go into the main theme in the deck, which is Soul Sisters. I have 22 versions of Soul Sisters in this deck. First one's Thwarted Consoles. Creature enters battlefield under opponent's control, you gain life. Soul's Attendant, classic Soul Sister. Creature enters battlefield, you gain life. Johnny's Welcome is like a better version of that. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Well, I guess it's less good because it's only under your control, but still, it's an enchantment, so harder to remove. Diamond Mare, choose color, white. Play a spell, choose color, you gain a life. Yep. This one's got protection from red and black. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. Ranger of Eos, he's not technically a Soul Sister, but he tutors for a Soul Sister. A lot of them in my deck. I have like a couple different hits he can grab. Archangel Thune is not technically a Soul Sister, but she does really similar to a Soul Sister and way better. If she was a legendary, I'd have her probably as my commander instead, because she has lifelink. And whenever you gain life, you put +1/+1 on each creature you control rather than a target. So you buff all of the creatures on your field rather than just one. So, and she has lifelink, so you can gain life, which does trigger it. So I kind of countered her in the Soul Sister pile. Healer Pride is Soul Sister, but 4-drop, and then when a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life instead. This one, also, it's like whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. So kind of Soul Sister, kind of not. Beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life. Just another instance of continuous life gain, not technically Soul Sister, but it still goes in the pile. Ranger Captain of Eos, again, another creature tutor for your Soul Sisters, so that's really nice. Solitary Priest, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, and then when someone else puts a creature on the battlefield, they lose a life, so really good against token decks. Passion Orator, classic Soul Sister. This one is kind of a sax piece, but that's an unintended consequence. The real reason we play it is whenever a creature dies, you gain life. This one's really funny. It's not really even that good. It's just people don't like it for some reason, in my experience. Whenever you, oh, I need to get out underneath the camera. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may gain 3 life. So for some reason, people really don't like giving me a benefit whenever they play lands. They just want to play their lands, and it'd just be good for them. They don't like giving me additional stuff. Daxos, really good Soul Sister. Also, you get the dice trigger for Soul Sisters too. Ajani's Strength of Pride is really good because you can get Soul Sister from first ability. Second ability, you get a Ajani's Pride Mate, which works really well with Soul Sisters. And then this one, if you have 15 life or more, you exile him and exile all the artifacts and creatures your opponents control. So a great one-sided board wipe. Angelic Chorus, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to its toughness. It's pretty solid. This one's also really good. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you get a +1/+1 counter, and then you gain a life. So he gets big himself, and then you get still the life gain. So you can pump him again or pump something else. This one's protection for multicolored, and then whenever an opponent casts a multicolored spell, you gain a life. And then another classic Soul Sister, Soul Warden. Okay. Let's put this more on camera, that way if I do accidentally get it off camera, then at least you guys can see it when it goes to the pile. Oh, forgot Soul Sister. Soul Mender. Tap it, you gain 1 life. Okay. And then these are not direct Soul Sisters, but these help with the synergies. Panoramaticon causes entered battlefield effects to happen again. Great because you get all your Soul Sister triggers again. Oh, hello, Socks. Cat is up on top of my desk currently. He might say hello. This is the Ozolith. If your creatures die, you get to put all the +1/+1 counters on the Ozolith, and then next upkeep, you get to send all the counters from Ozolith onto a creature. So really solid way to keep your board presence after you've been wiped. A Johnny Spreadmate, gain life. You put +1/+1 counter on them. Really good. Just becomes a really strong beater. Synergizes really well. Suntine's really good because we can go grab Soul Sisters, enchantments, artifacts from our graveyard that was removed. So great graveyard recursion. And he's a solid beater with 6/6 vigilance. Victor's Envoy might end up cutting. At the beginning of your upkeep, put +1/+1 on each other creature you control. It's kind of Loxodon Warhammer. Great because it gives trample is the main thing. So you give it to Heliod, Suncrown, and then he has trample and lifelink himself. So he'll automatically become an 8/5 with trample lifelink commander, which is devastating to most people. And then you buff him with the counters, and then he just one-shots people out of nowhere. What I love doing is pumping them with counters. Everyone's like, well, why are you pumping them with counters? Yeah, I can chunk block, and then I attach Loxodon Warhammer suddenly. They're like, oh, that's why. Reverent Hoplite, solid token generator if you have a lot of devotion. If you don't have a lot of devotion, kind of weak. Secure the Waste, great mana dump. Just pay mana for tokens, so that's awesome. And it's only like a 1-drop and then the X, so it's great value. Stormherd is really terrifying because you make as many White Pegasus creatures equal to your life total. So you can, if you have like a couple Soul Sisters and Archangel Thune out, when you play this, you'll have you'll have about around 1,000 or more power on board. So it's really, really solid. Great way to finish the game. Plus it's hilarious making like 100 like 1/1 Pegasuses, and then you make them all 100 power each. It's so funny. Just looking at everyone's faces. Captain Watch, probably another card I'll end up cutting eventually. It's 2 overcosted for what it does. Is 6-drop for your soldier creatures get +1/+1, have vigilance, and then when he enters the battlefield, you put 3 soldiers onto the battlefield. Now Elspeth is like one card I was like, I knew I had to have it just because it does all 3 of its abilities does something really critical in this deck. It's +1, puts 3 tokens on the battlefield. That's every turn, so it's like Captain to Watch, but does it every turn. I can use her ability. Her -3, destroy all creatures to power 4 or greater. So if your opponents have much larger boards, you can kind of spread out your counters pretty low. Just make them all like 3 power or more. I mean 3 power or less, and then use that, and then just wipe their board, and then just swing out. Also, it doesn't affect Heliod, so because he's got indestructible, so it won't kill Heliod if he has a bunch of counters on him. So that's awesome. You can one-shot someone pretty easy that way. And then her ultimate, if it gets there, is a emblem with creatures you control have +2/+2 and have flying. That doesn't go away, so that's awesome. So she is critical for this deck. Speaker to Heaven, great token maker when you have 7 or more life. Then you're starting your life total. Not hard to get there in this deck at all. So as you guys can imagine. Increasing Devotion, create 5 1/1s, and then has flashback. So if it gets countered, this is great to have in your graveyard, or if someone starts milling you, that's a really nice, fun surprise. I just like the flashback. The flashback's what I think makes this card over the top for a token generator, because then you make 10 of them for 9. It's awesome. And then if you're getting to that point in the game, obviously not good for competitive, but for casual, it's fun. Griffin Aviary, if you gain 3 more life, you create a 2/2 Griffin. Great for devotion, early start, make tokens, gain 3 more life, not hard to do. Just creates a nice little board presence. It gives you some blockers early. Final Glory, I typically like to cast it for 10 or more. It's hard to get to that point, but if I can get to that point, then I make a bunch of angels, and then I just close that game just by smacking people. So, yeah. That's the total deck. Okay, guys. Well, What do you guys think? Hopefully you guys liked the video on the deck tech, my explanation of the deck, why things are in there. If you guys could, leave me some comments. Tell me if you guys agree with my points I've made, which cards I had in there. If there's cards you guys would swap out, replace. It started off as kind of a budget build, and then started getting some expensive cards just by cracking packs, trading, and such. So I have made some upgrades. So some of it is expensive, some of it's definitely on the cheaper side. So if you guys have any suggestions for solid upgrades, let me know. And tell me if you guys agree with the 30 lands, because I know that's a really controversial point whenever I show the deck to a lot of people. A lot of people are like, wow, 30 lands? No. But with me having 12 different ramp cards in there, I find that the deck runs pretty smoothly because it's pretty low mana costing deck, except for the big sorcery spells. So yeah, guys, tell me what you think. Suggestions, comments, discussion. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments a little bit about it. That's the only thing I ever really ask for in my videos, just a little bit of comments. If you guys can, just spice up the videos a little bit. Oh, and let me know what I did wrong, or if there's anything I could improve on. Except for the fact that I have a shitty camera, I already know that. Oh, I have an idea for my camera, because I've noticed that I kind of moved the cards out of the frame for the camera a lot. I might end up putting tape down where the camera's visually spotting on. That way I know when I'm not looking at the computer screen where to stay inside the line. So tell me, guys, think that's a good idea, because I think that might be an okay idea for going forward in the future. And then, yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, I don't care about likes, subscriptions, or hit the bell notification button. I just really want you guys to enjoy the videos. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.